Hi everyone, it's Kate from The Fold Line. I am back this week with the edit. I hope you're well and having a nice week so far. Apologies if I'm sounding a bit croaky. I've had flu for the last few days. Feeling a bit little under the weather, but yeah, it feels very unfair to have it when it's not that cold yet. It feels kind of weird. Anyway, so yeah, if I sound a bit croaky, that is why. I got some really lush patterns this week, actually. Good things to talk to you about. So, gonna get cracking. First up, Style Arc. We've got 3 patterns from them. They're not new, but new to us. The first one is the Style Arc Atlas woven pants, and I think these are the most interesting of the 3. But I haven't seen trousers like this. We'll have a look, and I'll show you a bit more. So sizing on this, they're paper patterns only for these. There's it's split into 2 size bandings, 4 to 16 or 18 to 30, so just make sure you're kind of picking the right one. So I think if we have a look at the line drawing, it gives you more of an idea of what's going on. So they're a wide-legged pair of trousers. They're slightly cropped. The really interesting thing is it's got these sort of twisted, quite big pleats that go down the front, all the way down. They're kind of stitched in, and they twist halfway, I think. And then so they're obviously caught in one way up the top and then caught in the other way down the bottom. So you get that twist sort of halfway down. They're really interesting. I really like the shape of them, actually. When I looked at them at the beginning, I thought they were just kind of normal pleated just from the pictures. And then when I had a look at the line drawing, I could see there was quite a lot more going on. But I think they're really lovely and a nice option for a wide leg trouser. I'm assuming that there's a zip at the back, and the back of them is very plain, so there's nothing going on. It's all kind of action around the front. But I thought they were really lovely and really interesting. You definitely, picking fabric for this would be very important. You definitely want something with some nice drape to it so that you kind of get the fluidity. Otherwise, if it's too structured, I think it would look a bit funny. But yeah, they're just quite interesting, and it's nice to have a pattern that's kind of you're kind of taken in with it. You're like, oh, what's going on here? And yeah, they're just a good one. So next up, they've got a really great top. It's called the Reynolds top. Again, sizing paper on this only, sizing 4 to 16 or 18 to 30. I think this is a really great pattern. It feels quite similar to the True Bias Roscoe, but it's got kind of, the proportions of it aren't as kind of relaxed. You can see the kind of main detail is this sort of gathered neckline with quite a big kind of deep ruffle that is created from the gathering that's kind of sewn round. And then there's also a really nice deep cuff on the bottom of the sleeve, which I think also mirrors the kind of neckline, and it gives a kind of nice balance to it. But this would be quite a nice, simple construction. I'm assuming, let me just double check the line drawing, there's raglan sleeve. Yeah, raglan sleeve for that. So that's nice as well. It means the construction of the sleeve is a bit easier. I feel like it's a good kind of transitional piece to wear if you're looking for kind of blouses, as we're moving into slightly, in the UK anyway, slightly cooler times. Then last but not least for them, we've got the Sabrina Dress, which I think is really beautiful. So it looks very simple when I just show you the picture. I almost couldn't see what was going on until I went and had a look at the line drawing. So if I show you that, you can have a see. You can have a look. At the front, the kind of detail is really lovely, kind of seam detail. So you've got this kind of swooping deep neckline with a crossover detail. Then you've got this interesting like panel cut underneath the bust. And then the skirt, you can see, is a panelled skirt, so you kind of get the flare in there. But I thought it was a really lovely, kind of quite an understated dress, but with some nice details going on. It would be a great dress for an event. So if you've got anything coming up in the sort of autumn, this could be a really nice option. Then we have got a really useful pattern, and one that I think loads of us either have made this or need to make this. The Merchant & Mills carrier bag. It's PDF only. It's a really lovely, simple little pattern that you can make in an afternoon. It's fully lined, so it means that you could, it's reversible. It's just something useful that you can put in the bottom of your bag. It's good for using up scraps of fabric. That was the other thing I was thinking, if you've got some leftover lovely bits of fabric, it's a really nice way of doing it. And when I say it's reversible, because the finish on it is a French seam, you could actually use them either way around if you wanted to, I think. But yeah, it's a lovely simple one, and it would be a really nice beginner project if you've got someone who has been kind of nagging at you to make something or teach them how to sew. This would be a great like starter project. Then we have got a jumpsuit from Sov. It's called the Winona Jumpsuit. When I first looked at this, I thought it was a jersey pattern, but it is not, it's woven. It's a great kind of useful, I actually think this would be a really useful item to make now to take you through into autumn. You could wear it with long sleeve tops underneath or a polo neck. It would look really cute. So it's a kind of a V-neck jumpsuit. You can see there are kind of big patch pockets on the side. There's a seam that runs down the centre front and the centre back. And then there is a tie that's stitched into the waistband so that you can pull it in at the back and get some shaping. And there's a really nice little sort of keyhole detail at the back of the V of the jumpsuit. I think it's sweet. It's got some nice details. It's quite a simple construction. There are bust darts as well, I should say, for a bit of shaping and fit. But yeah, this is also a really nice simple pattern. So if you're relatively new to sewing, I think this could be a good, and you wanted to try out a jumpsuit, this would be a really good starter jumpsuit. Obviously you'd want to have a couple of things under your belt, but yeah, that would be good. Then finally, we've got Snitchin, who is a designer who we used to have on the site, and she has just spent quite a lot of time reworking loads of her patterns, so they're all taken off and now they are back on the site, which is really exciting because we loved the patterns. She's got a lot of patterns. I think she's got nearly 40 patterns, so there's loads of really nice things to look through. There's some great coats, dresses, just really good items for your wardrobe. I think most people I would imagine are familiar with them as a brand, but they're definitely worth going and having a look at if you haven't. There are 2 patterns that they have just released which are newer patterns, so I might talk through those 2 and then I'll let you go, and I'll pop a link to all of the patterns so you can have a look. So the 2 new patterns that they've released is the Tessa Coat, the first one. Sizing on this is a UK 6 to 18 or 20 to 28, so make sure you pick which banding. PDF only for this. Obviously there is copy shop printing available for the pattern sheets if you don't want to print them all off, which we have available. And then this coat is, to me, a classic take actually on a sort of vintage swing coat. So it's quite loose fitting. There are a couple of buttons at the top, but then you really have got quite a bit of volume in there, which is great if you like wearing kind of chunky jumpers underneath your jackets and stuff. This is a really good shape. So it's raglan sleeves. There's a bust dart. Then there are these 2 panels cut into the side to add more volume. I just think it's a really nice one, and actually I think it would also work very well at this time of year as we're moving into cold times, but it's not that cold yet. And obviously you can make it in loads of different things. It would look really lovely if you made this in like a waxed cotton, and then it'd be like a raincoat, or kind of not full, you know, waterproof, but like a wet weather coat. It would work quite well as. It's kind of suited to lots of different fabrics, or it would look lovely in a wool, depending on what you want to do. So that one is there. And then finally, they've released a dress and blouse called the Jali Dress and Blouse, or Jali. So the sizing on this is UK 8 to 28. Again, it's cut into 2 different size bandings, so make sure you pick the right one for you. So let's have a look at the line drawing so you can see what's going on. You can either make this as a dress or a shirt, so you can cut it off and make it a bit shorter, or you can kind of wear it open as a layering piece, the kind of dress version, which I think looks quite nice. So you can see in terms of the details, it's got a really chunky placket down the front. It's got a relaxed collar. I really like that they've made it in a very drapey fabric, so it feels kind of less structured and a bit more relaxed, which in looking at the construction, it isn't like, you haven't got all the details that you'd imagine on a classic sort of shirt. There's a very nice simple cuff as well. So actually, if you haven't made a blouse before, this could be a really nice option to look into because it's not as complicated in terms of the construction. But yeah, they've got some really great patterns, and I also really like on this is the detail of along the back. They've got a centre back seam, and then they've got a panel on the back, which I think on simple items, if you add a little extra kind of seam detail, always makes it feel a bit more interesting. So that is it from me this week. I hope that was useful and you found something nice. I will be back soon with another video. Have a lovely rest of your weekend. Bye.